night before last, I went to bed in Mobile, Alabama. I woke up in Louisiana and ended the day in Laredo, Texas. And that's how it is. We do 1,000 to 1,200 miles a day, every day, 24/7, for the whole time we're in the truck, which is anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks. Someone was asking Jay the other day, how much do you guys drive? And Jay said, we do 1,000 to 1,200 miles a day. And he was like, what? That's really hard to wrap my head around. And that was Adam, actually, in El Paso at the Kenworth. He was like, that's tough to wrap my head around. Jay was like, yeah, well. And if you think that you couldn't do it, or if you think you could, there's actually no way to tell until you actually do it, because there's just no way to explain it at all. It's not like getting in a car and going cross country for vacation. You've done really long trips like that. It's not the same. I did a 5,000 mile round trip between San Diego and St. Louis, and when I got back, that was December of 2013, we had the new Chevy, and I thought, light bulb went off. It's like I really enjoyed that trip. So perhaps we could use our truck in some fashion to start a small business in the transportation industry. Now, granted, I didn't know anything about the transportation industry. I had never looked into it, ever. And I got on Craigslist and started, doing some research, see what I could find. And I came across husband-wife teams for semi-trucks. There were all these ads asking for husband-wife teams for semi-truck driving. Of course, they wanted experience, but it triggered the idea. And that's the 16th of December, all of Jay's tools were stolen on the job, and on the same day, they laid him off. And it was a pretty devastating day for him. I didn't say anything to him about my research because, well, first of all, I didn't know enough to feel like I could say anything to him. I didn't want to, get hopes up. But about a week passed, and he was having a very difficult time finding anything. And of course, $6,000 worth of tools had been stolen, and he was essentially unable to do electrical until those were replaced. And it was such a shock. But after about a week, I finally said, Jay, what do you think of driving a truck together? And he said, what kind of truck? I said, a big truck, 18-wheeler, semi, that whole kind of thing. And he was like, I could do that. That is how this whole adventure started, because 2 weeks later, we were on the road to Stratford, Missouri to go to school. And the company that, after all our research, that we had chosen was Con-Way, and they hired from 3 schools, and that was one of them. And it was the one that we could actually get into, and it was closest to us and the best situation. So that's where we went. But once we started this whole affair, until you're in a truck 24/7 and you're working 7 days a week, it's not possible to explain what it's like. No one could have explained this to me, and people tried, but until I actually experienced it, it was like, it's just, there was no way. There's nothing to compare it to. And even my 5,000 mile round trip from San Diego to St. Louis and back, there was just nothing even in that would have prepared me. But this isn't work. I mean, it's not like it's work. It's life. This is what you do every day. It's just life. Live, work, eat, cook, sleep, all of it takes place here. And so in that sense, it's just living. Look at San Antonio. It is a pretty city. Look at this. It's very pretty at night. Coming through here at night, all these buildings are lit. They're real pretty. There's one building that looks like mother of pearl. Not too bad, actually, for 6 o'clock. Look at that mural on the side of that building to the right. It is beautiful. He has so much reverb on his mic that I cannot understand what he's saying. A few people have left notes on the YouTube channel, posted commentary about smoking. Both Jay and I smoke. And people have said, don't smoke, or you should stop smoking. And that is the party line. But we're not party people. At least not that party. There is so much that is available on the internet to look up if you're willing to, and if you know where to look, because by and large, most people just toe that party line of the anti-smoking campaign. And I don't. I just don't. Sorry. Hope that's not overly disappointing. But I have done my own research. Did you know that 100 years ago, for asthma, a doctor prescribed smoking, and it relieved the asthmatic symptoms? Today, since the anti-smoking campaign has been underway for the past couple decades, asthma has risen around the world at an alarming percentage. Kind of interesting. But there's lots of other things too. Most heart medicines are actually made from nicotine. So people who are taking heart medicines are experiencing the benefits of nicotine in the medicines that they take. That's also interesting. 80% of the oldest top dozen people in the world, the top 12, 80% of them smoke. That's interesting. I think one of the biggest things is the stuff that's put into tobacco. That's the real problem. The chemicals that they put in to create a flavor. That stuff's under lock and key, and there's over 2,000 chemicals that are known to be put into tobacco to create these specific recipes, like for Marlboro, for Camel, for the various makers, who I actually don't know much about because we don't smoke a brand. We get all natural tobacco and good filter tubes that don't have fire retardant chemicals in them, and we make our own. So it makes a big difference. But I'm not trying to start a flame war or any kind of intense discussion. I'm just saying we both smoke. That's the way it is. We are thinking people. We do our own research. And I'm not saying people should smoke or shouldn't. I'm just saying we do. And that's that. And if it changes, it changes. It might. Who knows? It's burrito time. Here's the burrito Jay made. This is sweet potatoes, guacamole with salsa on top. See, you can tell you're in Texas because it says restrooms and storm shelters. Storm shelters are this way. Restrooms are this way. Here's a storm shelter. That's what a storm shelter looks like. Lights and 2 benches. Okay, not a bad restroom. Not bad. But it's not my favorite best area in Texas. But right now, it serves the purpose. The Texas Department of Transportation. They had some very cool picnic areas down there. Probably can't see those. Alright. Look at all the trucks bunched up because there is no place to park. Everybody has snatched the spaces that are available. Is sitting up here. Listen to that bellow. And now we're going to get up here next to Bella. There she is. Okay, it's time for go.